It's time for Don't Mess This Up, presented by Snickers. We got some big questions as we head into the third week of the 2021 NFL and fantasy season, for that matter. The first one, look, I made a TikTok about this because I got to keep up with the kids, so I'm on the TikTok now. Do we dare take a chance on a 49ers running back this week? It is a mess in Kyle Shanahan's backfield. So do you dare? And if so, who's the guy you take the chance on?
If Elijah Mitchell ends up suiting up, I think you could get him in your lineup. He's been giving you like over 15 touches per game. But if he's not there, I mean, you have to get away from everyone. I thought Trey Sermon would be a thing last week. He played one snap and got hurt on that one snap. Like, what are the chances? Trenton Cannon, JaMychal Hasty's hurt too right now. Like, just a lot of names that aren't really appealing, Marcus. And then it's the 49ers. And we know Kyle Shanahan he'll get his 8th-string running back and make him fantasy viable.
They signed a guy named Jacques Patrick. All I know about Jacques Patrick, according to the Wikipedia, he went to Florida State. He went to Timber Creek High School. He's 24 years old, from Orlando, Florida. And now he's a 49er running back. And if he gets in, chances are he'll get like 10 carries and run for like 70 yards. But nobody's going to know that. And nobody's going to have him on their roster. I'm staying away just because it just is so confusing. And it makes me sad because the Packer run defense so far doesn't look good. So
No.
the matchup is good. I just don't know who I can believe in this week. Couple of quarterbacks that went very early in drafts who have not gotten off to great starts: Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Of the two of them, whose start is more concerning for you?
For me, it is Josh Allen, and I was telling you in the break, I have a super flex team with both of these as my two quarterbacks, so it hasn't been fun. But at least with Herbert, you're getting the yards. He should have had more touchdowns too last week, if not for those penalties. Josh Allen, it's been 2 games, and he's averaging less than 225 passing yards per game, less than 17 fantasy points per game. And this is the issue. You see it on screen, right? He's constantly having to run for his life. Like, he's under so much pressure. The passes haven't been like he hasn't been throwing the ball like he was last season, but so much of it is because he's just under pressure all the time and trying to make something out of nothing. So I'm more worried about Allen, and it's more so about the Bills' offensive line than anything else.
I look at Josh Allen, and I feel like I can sort of give him a pass just because the first 2 weeks they played the Steelers, they played the Dolphins, so they went up against a couple of good defenses. So that at least makes me feel like, okay, maybe things will get better. What worries me most about Justin Herbert, one, they've had some decent matchups. I really thought the game against the Cowboys was going to be more high scoring than it turned out to be. I think a lot of us did. The other part that worries me about Justin Herbert is that early on, he's been way more turnover prone than what we saw last year. He's already got 3 picks. He's lost a fumble. I mean, this is a guy who threw 5 interceptions all of last year once he took over as the starter. That number is alarmingly high through the first couple weeks of the season. Not to say he can't turn it around, but it's just not what I thought it was going to be so far this year. On the other side, of these 2 wide receivers, whose start is more sustainable? Mike Williams, who's had a couple of really big games to start the year, or Marquise Brown, who may be able to resume the name Hollywood. Last year, he was like sort of Van Nuys Brown. He was like North Hollywood Brown. He's been actually Hollywood the first couple of weeks. Which guy's more likely to keep it going?
I think it's Mike Williams. Mike Williams is averaging 11 targets per game right now. Like, that is big-time volume. He actually leads the league, too, in end zone targets right now. So he's getting opportunities in the red zone and in the end zone, which is where you love to see your wide receivers getting targeted. The thing with Marquise Brown, I do believe that he could sustain it because I think he started to break out at the end of last season. From, like, week 12 on, he's been averaging over 17 fantasy points per game. But it comes down to the offense. The Chargers are just going to throw a whole lot more. Like, Marquise Brown has a 29% target share, Marcus, but on the Ravens this year, that's just 8 targets per game. On the Chargers, Mike Williams, 25% is 11 targets per game. So I'll take the offense that's just throwing the ball more.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that, too. I'm going to double down on Mike Williams. The Ravens, regardless of them trying to tell us each and every year that they want to throw the football more, they are still a run-based offense. I mean, there's a reason that we are clamoring for Tyson Williams. It's a reason people are making the move, begrudgingly, for Latavius Murray off the waiver wire, because they're just going to run the football. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert's going to keep slinging it. So I think Mike Williams is the guy who finally is going to have that big breakout year. I think we've been waiting for it, and I think this is the year that it finally happens.